Man, this feels familiar, huh?
Sure does.
This time it's a carbureted Ford truck, though, so it'll be nice and simple. I bet this will make a quick and easy video.
Don't even start.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Junkyard Digs. Today you join myself, Angus, and this Bullnose Ford in the back shed. And today we're going to be picking up right where we left off last week, but this time with a different truck. That's right, we still need to drive to Topeka, Kansas to pick up an engine that's been for sale on Marketplace for a while, and we want to do it in an old Ford truck that we're getting running for the first time for a video. Now, unlike the fuel-injected 93 that we fired up last week and did a bunch of work to, this has a 300 inline 6 that does not run very well at all. So in typical Junkyard Digs fashion, there is still a lot that needs to be done, and for me personally, I think this truck would be a lot better with something right here that has about 8 cylinders and a V pattern, and we can spruce up with using nothing but used parts. That's right, it's a clean out the shed used parts extravaganza.
I was waiting for you to say quick and easy video again, and I was about to fight you about it.
Alright, Goose, light this thing off. Oh. Has it got a dead battery? Try again. Yes, it does have a dead battery. Damn. Man, you just had to say quick and easy video, didn't you?
I didn't say it.
No, you said the whole...
I did say it, but I didn't mean it.
You're the only one to say the whole sentence. It's all your fault.
Oh.
Well, I guess it's grabbing the battery from that. Check this out. A lot of people asked about this on Power Tour. This is the state of the GTO. It's currently waiting for Tom's shop to be open so we can begin body work, but the shot blast underneath has been done and on the firewall. So this has all been stripped back to metal. It's been sitting in here to stay dry. But yeah, she's all cleaned up.
Alright, battery.
Hey, that's where the nice dual post went. Alright, there we go. Cool, let's see what that does. Damn, doesn't have a trailer brake controller.
Dang.
Oh yeah, and if we didn't mention, this is a 4-speed overdrive.
Yep.
Which is very unique. And this luggy Turbomatic 300 barely pulls it.
I was going to say, it's a very interesting driveline choice for this engine setup.
Bring her to life.
Get a real kick out of how much the shifter jumps around when I crank it.
Yay, inline 6s. Give her like 10 pumps. She's been sitting for a while. You gotta bring fuel up first, so I'm not too surprised. Oh no. Oh yes! Oh, in the nick of time. Right as the battery was dying.
It's like, no!
Good job. Yeah, just enough. The bare minimum. That's how I like to roll. Alright, let's back this thing out of here. Oh yeah, not a bad looking truck. Tennessee truck. And no rust whatsoever, unlike the last one.
Yeah, she's the unit. This definitely deserves to be a...
I think so too.
This thing runs like a bag of cheese right now. Like it feels like we're down a cylinder at idle too.
It sounds like it. Alright, unload the sled.
I suppose so.
Let's do it. Ooh boy.
Jesus.
I think we should put clutch on the list.
Yeah, and we should probably anticipate needing to redo the flywheel.
We'll have to change the whole flywheel entirely.
Well, once you're off the clutch, it runs real smooth.
Oh.
Well, except for it doesn't. Avoid the stumps, avoid the tractor. You've got a lot of landmines in your yard, dude.
Yeah, you're telling me. A lot of old videos sitting around. We're cleaning house. Somebody buy that son of a bitch. It's about the only thing left. Oh, that's right. Once again, we have a Ford that the driver's door doesn't work on. Come on out.
I am digging the valet service, though. This list is getting kind of big for 3 days.
All right, welcome to the snowmobile shed. We are here for this bottom row right here. Core engines, or good engines. We got a big block Chevy with a blown head gasket from a camper. Our year 2 over a NASCAR trip. That's a 400 Pontiac, a 401 nailhead. That's a 351 Windsor. That one's actually in the realm of possibility. An LS, a 460 Ford. And then probably our lineup of best options right here. 4 302s, 2 of which are from a boat.
Well, you know how we love our marine engines.
We do love marine engines.
But we also love that fuel injection on top.
Yeah, that's why I'm steering clear of that side, because this right here is a bolt-in solution top to bottom. All we gotta do is ditch the headers. I'll have a, well, that 2-barrel is an 888 because I made 188 horsepower as a 2-barrel in the late 70s, which is ridiculous for a 302. The 4-barrel carb models didn't even do that. But this one right here, I paid $100 for that entire motor. And if you'll notice, it already has a 289 intake and an aftermarket distributor. Granted, that distributor does not have vacuum advance, so we're gonna have to change it.
But somebody did some stuff with this.
Which means it's probably
Worthy?
I vote the gold one.
I vote the gold one too, because man, those valve covers would look sick in that truck.
To haul an engine, you must first haul an engine. All right, to the shop?
To the shop.
To the shop. All right, Mr. Goose, you ready to see our potential candidate for a trip all the way to Topeka?
I'm ready.
Okay, well.
I'm underwhelmed.
Well, you hate it now, wait till you drive it.
I have to drive it?
So, we did go pick up a snowmobile with this winter, and if you'll remember, it ran like shit.
Yeah, would not do highway speeds. It was very upset about it the whole time.
It was constantly dropping cylinders. Like the more we drove it, the more cylinders it dropped.
Yeah.
We got down to like 3. Today, runs a lot better.
Well, that's annoying.
Still down a cylinder, and if I stand on it long enough and get into the RPM, you feel it go dink number 6 and pick up that 6th one, which is what it was doing before. It would like start on 3 and then pick up 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Never really grab 6, very infrequently. Our clutch has a crazy chatter. My window rattles a lot, as you can hear. Door still doesn't work. Brakes need turned. She's a
little wobbly.
She was grabbing a little bit on the highway. She's cooled down and cleaned up, but I think we need hoses. It runs better than it did before.
Yeah, which is not to say good.
Yeah, no. We used to have a variable Venturi carburetor.
Oh yeah.
Terrible. And the guy before us put a regular one on, but I don't think it's of the right generation, and I think it's from Amazon or eBay. Oh, the highlight of the clutch is smoother. If I floor it all the way, it actually slows down a little. The throttle's stuck to the floor. That's exciting. We're doing 55 now at 3rd. I am to grab overdrive. Look at this. 4-speed overdrive. Now we're doing 1500 at 55 and dropping. I put my foot down. We go all the way to the floor. It gets slower and sticks. If I lay into it hard, we get to 58. So yeah, not exactly ideal. Not exactly a powerhouse either. No. The motor's got 148,000 on it. It's rightfully tired. And we could build the 300, but we could also put that 302 in that has like, I don't know, probably a couple hundred hours on it. And with the same amount of money you can put in parts into this to make the 300 good, you can make the 302 great. So I say we pluck it.
I say so.
I agree. Should we time a 0 to 60?
Does your timer go that high?
Does the truck do 60? Alright, we got a little bit of a downhill here, but we'll do it in the same spot each time. Ready? On the wood. 35. Oh, she's shitting and getting. Oh, it might even do it by the bottom of the hill. Oh no, we're on the uphill. I don't know if we can hit 60. Oh, we did. 0 to 60 in. Oh, take a guess. 14.98. No. 0 to 60 in slow quarter-mile times. Let's see if we can change that for cheap. Okay, Truck is in the shop. So straight off the bat, we have a couple issues with this swap that we did not think of prior and get on the parts list, because let's be honest, we thought of this idea this morning. This right here is our engine perch. They bolt to the top of our K-member. On a 302, they sit back here. So the whole perch, the frame side of things, and the engine mount is different. We don't have one of those. That's problem number one with this swap. Problem number two is over here. Boat motors are a great way to get a cheap, well-built 302, or any engine, honestly. They usually have a steel rotating assembly down the bottom, higher nickel in the blocks, and like we mentioned earlier, just perform way better than the street variants because they have no emissions that they need to meet. So they crank these up, and they just need to run harder because a prop in the water, every inch of a prop is touching the water, whereas a tire, you only have this much contact patch. It takes way more power to move a boat than a car. Now, usually, we can get these really cheap. Again, I gave $100 for this one. Most of the ones, we get a free boat, or pay $100 for a boat, and motors are stuck. It's usually the gimbal bearing in the back. One time it was a starter that was engaged and froze. We usually rip these out, scrap the boat for $200, sell the trailer for $400, come out $100 ahead. But there is one risk that you always run with these, and it's water and freezing and whether or not the boat was put away properly. And as you can see here, doesn't look like this one was. We're missing that. We're missing a frost plug down here. We've got a second temporary frost plug right here, and we're missing a frost plug on that side. Now that's not particularly at the end of the road, but there is one more issue. Angus, if you'd like to do the honors.
Pull out my magic wand of questionably colored oil.
She's a little milkshakey. Is that a cracked head? Is that a cracked block?
Is that condensation?
Is that condensation? We don't know.
It sure is mixed.
Which is weird because
This hasn't ran in
years.
Yeah.
Who knows when?
And who says oil and water don't mix?
It
looks pretty mixed to me.
Beat it into submission with a crank at 4 grand. So I think our first step is going to be drop this motor down and get it to crank, see if it's any good, see if it'll run, while we're waiting on a phone call back from the junkyard to see if they even have the mounts to put an engine in this truck. And then when none of that works, we'll either go get one of the other boat motors or fix the 300.
You did turbocharge it.
Yeah, but not in 3 days. That was an option.
Leaf blower?
Well, there's always the chance that the engine's froze.
Didn't actually see that one coming right off the bat.
Me either. Oh boy. Well, I mean, I suppose that answers that, huh?
Maybe it's full of fish.
It kind of appears to be. We pull some plugs and see how rusty they are.
So it was running a bit lean until it got rusty and seized.
I don't think that's an accurate assessment because it's been sitting for so long. It is very rusty and seized though, and that is the large plug. That is wild. How old is this motor? All right, let's keep pulling these out. Something tells me we're just gonna go short block it. Parts shelf. Okay, well, survey says not great. This is the first one I just pulled. Here's the rest. Not what I would call good, to say the least. My side is still pretty bad, but those back two look good, so we're not worried about them. Although there is a significant difference in burn. One's very rich and the other isn't. That could be oil.
Could be fish in the intake.
Could be fish in the intake. Fish oil. I think our next step is to grab the borescope and look down in those cylinders and see if any of this is worth our time. I know the other motor we have sitting next to this one was good, but we grabbed the shiny one. I also know that there's RTV on the timing cover right here. So someone's had this timing cover off, which is more evidence that this probably has a cam in it. Oh, hello, other camera. All right, here we go. Oh, Lord. Here's the first one. I ain't gonna say it's great. Holy shit. Let's see the second one. Again, not good. Not what I was hoping for. At least we didn't pay like hundreds of dollars for this motor. What even is that? Third. Yeah, that's better, but the signs of dripping right there, see that? That's interesting. That's very interesting. Starting to remember maybe this guy had this motor sitting outside and I was pretty sure it had been rained in. I think I was right. This cylinder looks fantastic. A lot of really weird lines on the cylinder wall from like every time it had been parked for years at a time. But other than that, great. Let's go check the other side. Oof. Which one was your bad one, the rear one?
Yep.
I would say. Holy shit. Is that rust flaking off? I believe it is. This cylinder is junk.
Ooh, that's Goldwing level junk.
Yeah, that is rust flaking off. There's a cylinder missing in that one. This one looks awesome. With a valve open even. But that would be... Oh, that'd be an intake valve, I'm pretty sure. This one has a spider web in it. I wonder how many spiders we've decimated firing engines. Hello, Mr. Valve. How are you today? Not great. Intake valve was open. Cylinder was full of water. Okay, well, shit.
Bad news on the shiny one.
Bad news on the shiny one. Out of curiosity. Ooh, that smell great. Look weird. That's interesting. This head is stamped 351, which maybe they all were. WCP. You gotta take the intake off to see what a small block Ford head is. I gotta wonder if someone built this motor. Like, got the good 351 heads from like a 70. There's a chance that there's some good stuff here. Tell you what, before we can even put this in the truck, we're gonna need to find some engine purchase. Let's go down to the junkyard and see if we can even find any to start with. Holy hell, it's been a number of years since the Junkyard Digs crew went to a junkyard. But we've really reached desperation here. Looking for a Ford with some engine mounts. There's no be a Chev. There's nothing here anymore. Holy shit.
Took all the junk out of the yard.
Yeah, look at this, they got parking room here now. Well, that's inconvenient. What do we got here? Chevy van, question mark? Chevy van exclamation point. Could be a good motor here.
It's a TBI.
Never mind, let's keep walking. This one kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. It's in good shape. Not that I want anything to do with this, but I suppose it exists. Interesting. What'd you find?
I found a disc.
Oh my god, a new disc. Now this we do need.
This looks like a pretty nice camper.
Yeah, this looks like a perfectly fine camper. Is Angus about to walk away with a $100 pop-up camper?
It's be a slow walk, that's for sure. But...
Man, it's a shame. Well, I don't know if it's a shame that we're not doing an OBS Chevy this week, but it would be convenient.
Sure would.
There's plenty of them damn things.
Oh no, it's El Jefe.
Oh.
They smashed. Also, what's wrong with this Jeep?
Potentially nothing.
Oh.
I have a question. Why are there 100 minis?
Oh, this is the mini place.
What is going on? Man, we're in the wrong yard. Look over there. It's a Cougar, question mark? Who knows? All right, well, we struck out on this.
Junkyards just aren't our thing.
Yeah, no, not at all. Never have been, you know. Well, we didn't end up driving this one to Topeka, but we did drive this one home to get two engines.
When in doubt, go back to Kevin's shed and grab another one.
Between the three 302s that I have sitting around, we should be able to make something that's good. You know?
Potentially.
Potentially, yeah. All right, our 302 is inside. That's ready to get prepped. It's been an entire day. We've been getting yanked all over the place for other projects / looking for engine purchase, but I found a set, so we're good to go there. Which means we're way behind schedule and we absolutely need to kick this thing in the ass. So this has to come out, that has to get ready to go in, and then tomorrow morning I should have purchase. So let's rip this inline 6 out of here and get that 302 ready to go. All right, I guess we're committing to it.
Yep, we know that for sure because here comes the radiator.
Yeah, there's definitely no going back now.
Yep, can't undo that. Certainly can't undo that coolant I just dropped on the ground. No! No! Everything's full of oil! Where's all this coolant coming from? Cut!
Well, that didn't take very long at all. We've got all of our connections undone, even though it doesn't really look like it. I can actually run my hand in between the engine and the frame and not hit anything, so we're good to go there. I've been looking around. This thing's got 1,000 little control modules and plugins and sensors and an O2 sensor, and that reminded me, that would have been a variable Venturi carburetor. For lack of better words, terrible. They had an actual like clamshell shaped thing that would close off the sides of the carburetor, and I don't even understand why they did it. It was horrible, but it was still carbureted, yet very computer controlled for this era. I believe the 86, I believe like a 302 would have been fuel injected in this truck, and a 351 would have been carbureted as well. I could be wrong. I don't remember. I'd have to reference my notes. I know in 84 the cars went to fuel injection, so Ford was the first to do a large swap to fuel injection for the domestic brands. So with all this up here done, let's get this up in the air and get underneath, and then undo all of our connections on the trans and whatnot, and we should be ready to pull this in a matter of minutes. Engine out in like 45 minutes, easy.
Just like that, folks.
All right, starter's out. Angus is working on engine mounts and exhaust and other fun things right now.
Yeah.
I am going to start digging through the forums and my old notes and whatnot from my 302 days to figure out all the crossover stuff we're going to need to make one of these work in here, because it's going to be a lot of goofy things like different size and tooth count of flywheel and imbalances and just, oh boy.
It seemed so much easier when we started.
We still have that other boat motor, but that one's good, and I don't really want to just toss it in we'll see. Then we can just find a whole boat.
We could just go boating. Forget the swap. We'll just take the boat. And that's all you need.
Angus, as you can see, has removed our big dumb set of catalytic converters. Is that what's going on here?
Dude, we're rich.
We can sell those and trade them for some headers.
Heck yeah.
We're just going to put a board from frame rail to frame rail right here to hold our trans while we pull the motor, which means it's time now to pull the motor. Wow. There we go. The 300 inline 6 is coming out. Now, I know what a lot of you are going to say. Why would you take the 300 inline 6 out of that? That made more torque than the 302 did. That might be true on paper, but we don't live on paper. We live in the real world, and this thing was a turd. I've had a couple of these motors. I've always thought they were turds. That's why they live forever. They can't actually hurt themselves. They don't make enough power. Yes, we can spend a bunch of money on this to make it make power, but an intake, for instance, is $800. With $800, we can make a 302 run 1,000 times better than a 300 ever will for just the intake. So it just doesn't make sense financially for there to be a 300 in here if we want this truck to ever have any power. Alongside that, V8s are just superior.
It's gonna be a turd. I want it to at least sound good.
Amen. All right, let's get this thing out, get the truck cleaned up underneath, give it a little pressure wash down below, and then start prepping a 302 to drop back in.
You getting my good side?
I am now.
Kevin, you're just being mean.
That's left in here. All right, there we go. The 300 is out for sale. One out, 300.
$5,000.
$5,000. Jesus. Did you see the rear main?
I see what was left of it.
Or what I assume was a rear main. Holy hell. That thing is leaky, to say the least. Well, at least the throwout bearing was loose. Alright, so the truck is outside. It's all washed up, ready to go, as is this particular 302. Now this is out of a truck. You can tell by the way it is. The truck intake up here is a dead giveaway to that. The newest engineering code I can find from looking around on it is an F4 TE, which stands for 94 design code. So, I don't know, either someone's replaced the fuel pressure regulator or the whole thing's a 94. I don't know. Regardless, I think this will be a good motor for us. It does spin very nicely. It makes compression, I can hear it. And it's covered in pieces of tape that say what each wire was hooked up to previously. So, someone pulled this out with the intentions of either putting it back in a truck or saving it to go in something else. So I think it's probably still a good motor if they went through all that work. I don't know anything about this. It's been sitting in my shed for probably 8 or 10 years. I think I gave $100 for it once years ago. So it's right on par with our budget build. It does have a truck pan, which is nice. That'll work well for us. But besides that oil pan, there's a lot of things that need to go, starting with our upper intake, lower intake, all the fuel injection shit on top, our distributor, our entire accessory drive, our water pump, our timing cover, and our crank pulley down here in the bottom. While we're there, I'm gonna pull off the valve covers, reseal those, pull off the exhaust manifolds, see if I can find headers for it. That would be really cool. When you get rid of that steam port thing on the back, the exhaust crossover for emissions, and then at that point we'll be so far into it, man, if I have a camshaft laying around, now would be the time to put it in. Once that is all pulled off, we will change to a carbureted manual fuel pump timing cover, the correct pulley and brackets and everything up front, a regular intake and a carburetor and a regular distributor, and then we should be able to drop this in. It's not too hard. One thing to keep in mind though is what you're sourcing your motor out of. 1980 and prior, your small block 302s are going to be a 28 ounce internal balance, and 1980 and later, they are going to be a 50 ounce internal balance. So that is something to keep an eye out for. We can't go putting the 300 inline 6 flywheel and clutch on this for actually a number of reasons. That one is a 0 ounce balance. This one will be 50, and that truck would have had 28.2 if it had a 302 originally. So that's one thing to note. If you go to a roller block, you're going to need to make sure that you have the proper harmonic balancer and flywheel. Okay, let's start ripping this thing apart and see what we find. Distributor into trash can. Oh God. Ugh. How many horsepower that cost? Upper intake manifolds off. You can also tell it's a truck port because they're squares. Vacuum control solenoid BS be gone. And now the fuel injectors can come off, I believe. Not that they really need to, but, well, actually, it makes it a little easier to get to the bolts. Fuel injection rail and all the bullshit in the trash.
Hell yeah, I went to put a chrome dipstick tube on it.
This ain't no Chevy, boy. You keep that chrome off it. Okay, valve covers and intake. Okay, moment of truth. Clean or dirty?
Clean. Well sealed for sure.
Yeah, she done. Surprisingly, leak.
This ain't no small block Chevy, son.
That's pretty damn good.
Yep. I'll hit that guy with a wrench.
Introducing the big pipe wrench. Get off my engine. Thank you. Now, where was I?
Scaring children, aka me. Whoa.
Garbage. Hey. Look at that. Alright, on a small block Ford, once you get your intake off, you can take a pry bar right here in the front and lift against the water pump or something and pop her up and free. In our case, this one was already free. Yeah, still pretty clean. About the same, honestly. Ta-da! Oh, damn it.
Ta-da!
It's a roller.
It's a roller.
This spider spring right here that goes all the way across means that this is a roller block and has a roller camshaft. These two holes will be drilled and properly tapped. The lifter bosses themselves are taller, and there's dog bones, roller lifters, and a roller cam. Cool. While we're in here, we can take this mirror and feel around for our head casting number.
53?
No, it'll be a 4-digit. E7TE? Hell yeah, those are E7 heads. Those are not terrible. That's what all your Mustangs and stuff like that had, and your later truck motors and stuff. This was the last rendition before they went to the GT40s. So I am not too upset about that at all. I mean, they're definitely not going to be a powerhouse, but they're the best of the worst. And they're honestly not that bad at all. Let's rip our accessory drive off and get this thing cleaned up. All right, when you're pulling your accessories, it's pretty simple stuff, but the one thing to be worried about or cautious about is the 4 bolts that hold the water pump in. They like to rust on the shaft, as you can see, in this aluminum housing, and they are very prone to snapping off. Angus has been pretty lucky. He's got this one out. If you use heat and time, you can get them out.
Now, with my superhuman strength, I shall pull this timing cover off, which certainly I got all the bolts out right. Alright, if you're not an incompetent, ignorant fool like I, you would know there's dowel pins on the bottom and you can't just like lever it over.
Yay.
Yay!
Ooh, we're gonna just steal a fuel pump concentric as well.
What are you talking about? This one will work great. It'll just slap into the arm every so often.
I don't know what that is. A balance? That really isn't even that bad. I don't think this motor had a ton of miles on it.
Did they come factory with true double rollers?
Yes, sir, they did.
Huh.
All right, there we go. Our donor motor, or our motor to be, I should say, is all torn down and ready to go in. As you can see, Angus has the golden boat motor up in the air. We're going to tear this apart because I'm curious what's inside here. Now, unfortunately, I've dug through our used parts pile and our discount scratch and sniff Summit goodies and all that in the back of the shop, and I found nothing for a small block Ford. No headers, no distributors, no cams, nothing performance related. So that is actually going to stay in a very stock configuration. We're just going to be throwing a carburetor on it and shoving it in the truck, which is probably okay. We don't have a ton of time for this anyway. We'd like to leave tomorrow, Friday, somewhere in there. We don't know. And there's still a truck outside with no engine. So let's rip this thing down, figure out what we can use off this, and start building that one up.
There we go.
I'd love to help, but someone's got to film, you know. It's a darn shame.
Now the panic's setting in.
I mean, the gantry crane is right there.
Oh, it's pissing. Here, take this away.
No!
Oh, it's wired on. Somebody's made a critical and fatal error, and I think it might have been me.
Hey, look, there was a motor behind that. Weird. Oh, thunder again.
Thunder.
Is it gonna rain again? It has every day for 2 weeks. Let's check. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's cold again.
Good luck, bye.
Man, it seems pretty fitting that we're working on a boat engine right now.
Honestly. Did we summon this rain by doing this?
You gotta wonder, right? Anyway, we've done a little looking, and we decided that this is a 75 to 77 block. I don't know if the heads are leftovers. 75, they went to the smaller 14 millimeters to the 18 millimeter plugs. Those are 18s. So either someone put these heads on for performance, or they're just leftovers, which is very likely with marine stuff. Also, look how shiny the paint back here is. It's never seen air since the day it was assembled. It is beautiful. Really a shame that the motor's crap. All right, we're racing to pull them back in the rain. Ready? Set, go. Come on. He's just gonna leave going home. He's going home. That's fair. All right, come on. You see, he thought I was gonna run. Look at me. Oh, the window!
Oh, the window!
Oh no! Joke's on me! Oh no!
You look, the window's cracked.
I know. Is it so?
Does it look like I could see?
All right, Goose, go for it. Yeah, that's more like it. The other one came right off. So far, the $100 boat motor was worth it. That's a $200 intake. Oh, the hardware.
It's full of nuts.
Wow, look how clean all this is in here.
It's a wonder it's seized.
Yeah, you know, it really is. Maybe we pop ahead. Maybe this thing isn't as dumb as we thought. DOOE. So that'd be 1970 351 Windsor heads, which I think are the prime head to have. This would be a screaming motor if we get it to go. This motor might not be out for the count. I don't know.
That guy's looking particularly
Unhappy.
lemony.
Yeah, he's not happy, huh?
Oh, well, I didn't really see the pile.
Yeah.
That's
We'll start with the vacuum cleaner.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Let's vacuum it out. See what's going on in there.
Hey, I'd have to reshoot that. I was screaming at God.
I'm keeping that.
Oh.
I just oiled these down to amuse myself when I saw this. See this crack? And then this crack? And then this crack? This block absolutely froze. So what happened here is, when I bought it, it was sitting in the guy's yard, and he was like, "Hey, it's fine, yeah." No, this was completely full of water. This cylinder froze, and it cracked this whole top of the block off. So this engine, unfortunately, is completely junk. This thing is cracked so bad, this hole is an oval. They're not supposed to be an oval.
Your wet head. Wow.
Yeah, this one's cracked right here as well. I'll look from here to here. Well, that's a shame. She's junk. Good rotating assembly though. There's no rust down the bottom, so that is a parts motor for another day. For now, let's get that thing dressed up and ready to go into a truck. Well, it never goes without a hitch, does it?
Yeah, and this truck does already have a hitch, so.
I hate you. That was terrible. Anyway, we're getting ready to drop our intake on, and we realized, oh my gosh, there's a broken off bolt right on the corner, which is a problem because this is your water jacket right here, and they don't like to seal if they don't have any pressure right next to them because they're quite a ways from another bolt. So, in classic Junkyard Digs fashion, we've once again decided to play with all thread. Woohoo! We drilled our hole all the way through, thankfully. It was a factory blind hole, so we just had to knock everything out. And we threw a couple nuts on the bottom. We're going to ram those together, cut this off somewhere around here, and we're going to have a stud. Science.
Math.
One of those, yeah. There we go. Sweet. Let's get this intake cleaned up and sealed into place. Alright, time for our timing cover. We're going to be using the boat timing cover, and in the interest of speed, efficiency, and cheapness, most of all, we're going to be reusing what's left of our pan gasket up front. So I'm going to be smearing some RTV down in these corners really well, along this guy, and I've already got it everywhere else on there. Oh my god, we have to put the pump concentric on first. I about forgot again. Pause everything.
Torque to spec.
If you don't want to do what we're doing and change timing covers to run a mechanical pump, you could also just run an electric one. Arguably, way less work. Also, since this is a boat timing cover, it's cast iron, which means it's really heavy. But hey, it ought to be really quiet. I'm gonna try to go high and drop into place here. Now this part's really important. Once you get your timing cover on, you need to come in right here and verify that this gap is even all the way around. And you can put your harmonic in place, make sure that seal isn't puckered out really hard in one spot. You need to make sure that's concentric on the harmonic before you tighten any of the bolts. In fact, we're going to be using the bolts to get this into place. We're going to be doing our pan bolts first to pull this down, because as you can see, we're very tight on the bottom. If you don't do that on any engine, you will immediately kill your front main seal and it will leak like a sieve. So put your harmonic on, make sure your timing cover is centered on that harmonic, and then start tightening your bolts. And keep an eye on it the whole time. Okay, where's all our bolts? All right, in the spirit of slapping this together, we're going to paint it black. Duplicate color once upon a time sent us a box of random spray paints, and this black engine paint was in it. It's the only color I have that would probably look good besides GM and Chrysler Blue. I forgot how good this stuff sprays on. Alright, final piece of the puzzle for this. Brand used intake with extend-o-matic stud. Alright, let's get this sucker torqued down. Now on these Fords, it's a V pattern with the bolt going in at an angle. So it's really important that you follow the torque pattern, as it always is. It's also very important you go over it a bunch of times, because it's gonna walk itself into place. There you go. That is a carburetor, regular distributor, manual fuel pump ready 90s roller 302. Pretty much a swap in, easy upgrade for a much better motor into these trucks. If you have a mid-80s truck that's already a V8, this is gonna be a lot easier. You can take all of your front accessories and everything and put it right onto this motor and pick up a few horse with those E7 heads and have a roller cam, so if you wanted to throw a cam in it, that would be a great time. Plus, these are plentiful, real cheap, pretty easy to find. Okay, let's get this torqued down, get everything else sealed up, and get ready to drop this in the truck.
Well, that's different.
I'd say. Definitely hasn't been a whole day.
No, we certainly haven't been running around for days on end looking for parts.
Day on end. But
Day
yes.
on end.
So, as you've probably followed throughout this whole thing, there's been a hodgepodge of components. And when it came down to it, we had a similar issue I ran into with Dad's truck that we put a boat motor in. That harmonic has 3 bolt holes, and this 50 ounce has 4. And we were trying to adapt a V-drive onto this, and Ford changes their accessories all the time, and we didn't have anything for a 302, whereas last time when we swapped a boat motor into a 302 truck, it was a 302 truck, so everything swapped over just fine. This time, we didn't have crap. So we did a bunch of digging around, a bunch of thinking, a bunch of attempt at fabrication, and then Angus realized, hey, that other motor we have over there was like a late 80s Crown Vic, and it has a weird serpentine setup on it. And it's specifically the serpentine setup that people want for 302s, because you can put a serpentine on the front of a 302 and still run a mechanical fuel pump with that late 80s Crown Vic stuff. You need the 9-bolt water pump that still has provisions for these 2-bolt holes up here. Not the newer one, like this 1986 water pump that does not bolt to those top 2 holes, it just skipped them. So by stealing everything off of that motor we were able to put an accessory system on this one, and it's actually going to be upgraded to serpentine. So that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. It's a shame it's going on this truck because it's such a cool system.
Yeah,
What a waste.
I didn't even know I had been saving one this whole time. But yeah, anyway, let's finish putting that together, then drop this thing in finally. Oh, into a clutch. Okay, time now for our flywheel. Now, the 302s, there's a couple sizes of tooth count you could have. We have the 164 that was thankfully on this truck before, and was also the only one that we could get from O'Reilly, so that works out. This backing plate is going to be specific to the tooth count. There's either 164 or 157. These starter locations are slightly different depending on which one you have, so double check to make sure you have the correct one. We've gone through and done that, so we're good to go. We're going to recall a couple lessons we've all learned from old roadkill episodes, and we're going to not forget to put the backing plate on first, especially before you go all the way in the car and realize the starter doesn't bolt up. And we're going to not forget to use Loctite on the bolts that hold our flywheel in place. If you don't do that, these may back out and are going to sound a lot like engine knock and a lot of other noises. I think those are both lessons I learned on the Rotstang. What the hell is that thing called? The Rotson?
Yeah.
The Turbo Datsun way back in the day. Those are good episodes. I like those. Now to figure out the one spot this lines out without dropping on my toes. Alright, let's get this all bolted up, and I'm going to clean our surfaces here, get all this anti-rust stuff off and on our pressure plate before the clutch goes on. Oh, and we're going to put this on with a torque wrench. Make sure you torque these appropriately. Alright, all torqued up, good to go. Loctite, extra lube on our brand new throwout bushing. Pilot bushing. It's hot. It's so hot this week. My brain doesn't work very well. Okay, now using our centering pin here, we're going to make sure that our clutch is centered. If it's not, it's going to be really hard to install our trans. With that, we're ready to drop this thing in. So let's get the truck back inside, drop it in, plug everything in, and listen to it make some noise. Should be just that simple, right?
Absolutely. This is a quick, easy video, Kevin. Obviously, it'll be that easy.
Minutes. We spent minutes doing this. Thousands of minutes, but minutes nonetheless.
Minutes are the unit. The quantity is irrelevant.
All right, at long last, the truck is back inside. As you can see right here, we have a new throwout bearing. Figure we're in here, might as well replace it. Keep from having to come back for no real reason. We have unbolted our 300 inline 6 engine purchase. Get these things out of here.
That one's attached to some wires.
Leave that one right where it was. And now we take our new V8 engine purchase that we got from someone on Marketplace. Thank you, that person. All that's left to do is merely attach them right here where these damn rivets are. Shit. Okay, this might take a little bit. We'll be back. Once that's done, we can drop the motor in, though. See you then. Now, let's drop a V8 into this truck finally. Are you ready, Simon?
I sure am. Well, this feels like a whole lot more like we're putting a truck around this V8.
Yeah, it's fair.
Mirror. Mirror, mirror on the door.
Mirror, mirror on the door. Hit the lift. Be no more. How we doing? Looking good?
Looking okay.
All right, here it comes.
Oh, no, no.
All one go. Oh, no! This is so much smaller than the 300. It's hilarious.
Tires out of the way.
Okay, fire it up. Let's see what it sounds like. I like it.
This thing sounds awful.
Maybe we should have painted it blue and tan. Match the truck.
It's not too late. It's not in there.
No, it's too late. I quit. I'm not doing it anymore. I give up. Okay, there we go. It's installed.
See you next time on Junkyard Digs.
Yeah.
Bye.
Off to Topeka. Definitely still gonna be able to make that in this video. All right, bell housing bolts look good.
Sure do.
Okay, coming down onto our motor pads. V8 is in the truck. Get this out of here. And start bolting everything down.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. That actually looks pretty damn good in there. All right, there we go. I think we're gonna call it for the night right there. We've been hard at work for a couple days. It's like 106.
It's very, very hot.
Yeah, if it wasn't already apparent, it's unair conditioned here in the old rental shop. So, you know, suffering, something we do often. And we're sick of it, and we want to go home. It's Friday night. Regardless, got the heater core hoses on. I broke the power steering pump, so I'm going to put a new one of those in. It was plastic.
It is plastic. It's ridiculous.
I went to take this off, and it came off.
Too much of it, really.
Took the housing with it.
Too effective.
She's all bolted in, trans and everything lined up just fine.
Yep.
All looks good there. The starter's in. All that's left to do is wire it, fuel it, fire it, and floor it. So we'll be back Monday to do that.
With much more ambition
Maybe.
and smiles.
We'll look at the temperature.
To be determined.
Welcome back. It's Monday. Did you bring your ambition?
I did, now that I remember that's what I said.
As you can see here, we've got a Pertronics distributor, now with a vacuum capsule thingy. Saving some money there. Drop this guy into place. We've got our motor set at top dead center. So wherever this lands and lines up with the oil pump right there, that's going to be number one on our cap. All we have left to do now is to wire everything in, put our different to the vehicle radiator in, some hoses, and drop a carb on it.
It's going to be sweet.
And then drive 300 miles to Topeka.
Obviously.
Definitely still doing that in this video. Definitely not a week behind schedule on that. Okay, ready to begin.
Ambition. Engage.
Alright, I've been digging through our wiring diagrams and stuff for a while. We got everything figured out. These three right here run into our main engine harness itself. This used to control our distributor. We won't be needing him anymore. This ran our coil. We'll be using him. That would have been, I believe, a capacitor. I don't know if we'll need him. I don't think so. This ground, not going to need it. We will need this, our water temp, and this, our oil pressure. And that's it, besides the alternator wiring, which is over there. So I can go like this and throw all of this bullshit away, because we're going to have a carburetor. So we got intended. Done. There we go.
It's done. Thank you for watching this episode of Junkyard Digs. We'll see you next week.
No shit. This has been a lot of work.
This has been a lot of weeks.
Yeah, it's only been the one.
It's too many.
It's fair. 1 week to 302 swap a truck in 106 degrees with full humidity and no air conditioning. You know what? When we lay it all out like that,
We're right on schedule.
yeah, not so bad. That was a lot of work to go from one factory option to a different factory option. It's now a V8 truck. They could have got it just like this from the factory.
With these valve covers?
No, the valve covers and intake and ignition is different.
Not to mention that custom exhaust.
We still have to build that. Yay. Before we get to that nightmare, should we see if it runs?
Sure, why not?
We have no idea if this is a good engine.
I know I can spin it over with a ratchet, just wing.
You can spin it over by hand like that. It's probably fine. There it is. All wired, plumbed. All of our fluids are topped off. We are 100% done in here, minus an exhaust underneath, which is definitely the point to see if this motor's any good now.
Obviously.
That every last bolt's painted. Even the throttle linkage is hooked up. It's all completely ready to go.
Yep. Neighbors be damned, we're firing it up.
It's going to be loud.
Ready?
Yep.
The hell was that
I
noise?
have no idea. What is that noise?
I don't know.
It sounds like an angry starter, but we did throw the boat starter on this?
Yes.
Man, it's just real grindy when it's turning over. You feeling that?
Yep.
We got something way wrong here. It's a roller motor, so we should be running the roller firing order, which we are. But we got one enthused cylinder, some weird cranking noise. Sure. Yeah, let's take a moment and see if we can figure out what's going on. We got something goofy. Alright, we're gonna try something. 1994, all leftover motors that hadn't already done it in the past went to the 351 Windsor firing order. This is a roller from a truck, so I figured it was in 1994 because I thought that was the same year they started that. But there's a non-zero chance, for some reason, this is a changeover year or some shit like that, and it runs the other firing order pre-1994, because 1994 is the year they switched. So maybe this is somehow a 93 with a roller. I don't know. Try that, Jesse. Let's see what happens. Was that better or worse?
It didn't fight it near as much, but
I heard pops out the exhaust, but they didn't seem nearly as enthusiastic as the one cylinder they used to hit. Sure as shit, this runs the old firing order, and it's been flooded. So we must have been moving fuel. Go for it. So the starter's not disengaging.
that could be an issue.
I'd say that's a huge issue. Yeah, something's wrong there. I heard a bunch of real high-pitched, terrible squeaks, and some of the cylinders worked. But hey, it spun! Yay! All right, let's figure out what the hell's wrong with everything. All right, we found some stuff out. And we figured this would probably happen going into it, but I wanted to, experience it again. Years ago, with Ike's Mustang, Ike from Cars and Cameras, we had this exact same problem on his 67, 89 orange Mustang that he had. Had a 302 in it, and we tried to put a Fox body starter on, and it would not work at all. Something was wrong. It's been so long, I don't remember what it was, but this is what it is today, and I think it is the same issue. If you'll notice, look at the offset of where this gear sits versus where this gear sits. This one sits much further back into the body, and this snout on the back is a little, actually this tail housing piece entirely that bolts onto the back, or welds on in this case, is a little different. So is the face up front, actually. This is thicker on this one. So this would be, I believe, a roller late 80s starter. This is off the 300, so we're hoping that works. Usually Ford used one starter for everything per era. So this would probably fit a 460, this would probably fit a 302, 351, 300, all that. Go back a little further, this will fit probably a Cleveland, probably a 351 modified, definitely 302, maybe the inlines back of that time as well, but it will not fit this era of engines. They were really good at using one part across the fleet, but not for 50 years. Continual improvement, you'll have that. So, hopefully we throw this on, and
it just works.
Yeah, it fixes our starter issue. That was basically being engaged all the time because of the further output, and as you can see, we had a witness mark right there from where we were hitting, so that should fix all our goofy noises.
I'm looking on the trailing edge of the Bendix gear, and I'm seeing like half engagement from the flywheel, where when the engine ran, it ran the starter backwards. This side, this would be the being-driven side.
Like that silver mark right there.
Yep, just
not the tips.
Half-length wear marks.
That's hilarious. Yeah, whoops. Okay, throw this in and try it again. Okay, new starter's in place. I think that'll make a world of difference. All right, ready? Holy shit, dude.
I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I think we put a worn out 302 in this worn out truck.
How much, do we have oil pressure?
Oh yeah, we got oil pressure.
That's the most blow-by I've probably ever seen. Try it again.
Alright, now Zach. my God.
Thank you for tuning in for this episode.
We'll see you next week with another 302. I believe when I bought this, and I had been, ignoring this the entire time, the guy was like, yeah, she's real worn out, but, $100. There's some parts on here. I didn't tell you that part. Of the two, that one, the one still sitting over there, was the better motor.
No!
But, performance-wise, this one's way better.
Time to go to Topeka.
Yeah, time to go to Topeka. That has so much blow-by. We've got some valve issues. We've got some blow-by issues. We never did bore scope this motor. We didn't want to know. I knew what would happen. I was just real hopeful. Let's do a little tuning to this and see if we can get it to idle, maybe. And then go for a drive, because there's still a chance that this just clapped out 302 is better than that 300. I don't know if I've ever had a motor that I didn't care about enough and ran so shitty to try this, but it's, old guys swear by it, so when are they ever wrong? It's like seafoam, but free. I'm hoping this knocks some carbon and shit loose off the valves. Not so much on the intake valves, it's not gonna do a lot there. It might clean the exhaust and should clean the compression chambers, so that's what I'm going for. One cylinder going choot 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 the whole time.
I don't know.
Hear that too?
Yeah, I do.
Sounds like we have one just blowing air out their ear for no reason. And the almost perfect blower surge, also real strange.
That is weird.
But it is idling now. The water and heat is helping. Man, it's never a good day when you see this tool out. So as you can see, we've got our compression tester on here. We are on cylinder number 3. I'll show you what a good cylinder looks like. A nice, healthy 145. You'll love to see it. Now, if we go back to cylinder number 2, as you may notice, nothing happens, and that whoosh, whoosh, whoosh on the exhaust is back. It's only like that when there's a plug in cylinder 2, so we're theorizing, what, we've got a bad exhaust valve or a stuck exhaust valve?
Yeah.
Let's pull a valve cover and find out.
There we go.
Is there a rocker missing or something magical? Ugh. What the hell? Why does our oil look like it just took a bath? That's probably fine, right?
Surely.
You know, if it perchance wasn't a valve, and we just bore scoped it, and the piston looks just fine, that leaves one thing.
Head gasket.
Head gasket, or whatever you said. I wonder. There's no pressure in this system. Give her a crank. If those move just fine, we know we got some head gasket issues.
Ready?
Yep. Oh boy.
You're not seriously suggesting to me that the $100 back of the truck, garbage bin, cheapo, who knows, worn out 302 has a bad head gasket?
I'm afraid I may be suggesting that to you. Yes.
Well, stop it.
Throw the other one in.
No. Hell no. We've been doing this shit for 7 days. It's
Flowers are really hot.
hot as balls outside. I'm mostly dead at this point.
And soup.
And
You're mostly soup.
Yeah, we are soup. I
We're bravely giving up. Thank you for watching this episode of Junkyard Digs. Buy some of our stuff. Leave us alone.
This is the most realist outro we've ever shot.
I hate this truck. It was so good right up until right now. It was never good.
It was never good.
It's always been missing cylinders.
Yeah.
Are we at least up on our cylinder count?
We may have 7.
Like, worst case, if we have 2 or less cylinders out, it's better than when we started. Then in line 6
that's
was
true.
running on
That's
like
true.
4 or 5.
So we can lose up to 3 and still be ahead. With that being said, despite not having a head gasket 1 cylinder, there's nothing stopping us from going and retiming the 0 to 60 to see if we did in fact actually improve this vehicle.
Is the Junk 302 better than a Junk inline 6?
Let's go find out. It might run like a bag of shit, but it sounds kind of cool now. Oh. Oh, this is gonna be great for clutch braking. So, how far did Topeka?
At least 20 miles.
What is happening?
I don't know.
All that power.
Right, that's what this is.
As our dynamic compression increases, we almost pick up all 8 cylinders. You know what? Remember that truck we did last week?
Yeah.
I bet it's got the same exact problem.
No.
I bet that truck has a blown head gasket. A blow by coming over the hood.
Oh my god. You know what? You can almost not even notice.
Yeah, I mean, all look down.
Yeah, if you don't look right at it or in front of us.
It's gotten better. Not that that means we have a good motor.
No, but
It feels like oodles of more power.
yes.
Hello, the town.
Hey, no engine braking. There's an ordinance about this.
Oh. I'll tell you what, though. It's got more power than she ever had. Look at this. I can pull third just fine. And grab fourth. And accelerate under light throttle. Look at the blow by. My God. It smells like popcorn in here.
Yes, it does. It smells not very good.
I don't know why.
Yeah, look at that. We're doing highway speed.
It is technically better. Oil pressure's fantastic. Wow. Temperature, don't move. What a piece of crap. Alright, let's get this turned around and run to 0 to 60. I think
yeah.
we can beat it. Okay, here we go. Look at the cloud. Oh boy. 11.2 seconds. Woo! We took 3 seconds off by adding 1 cylinder. 11.2
This motor's gonna need probably a little more than a head gasket.
This motor's gonna need to be a different motor.
Yeah.
We really should have went with that other boat motor that I know was good all along.
Well, you didn't want to use that one all up.
Oh yeah, exactly. Apparently I didn't have a lot of good 302 sitting around, despite what I thought. Alright, let's get this hunk of shit back to the shop. Well, thank God we made it. What is that?
It's the blower surge.
Apparently, like, look at this. Oh, I still can't get out of this door. Still so much on the truck side to fix. Nevertheless, we're doing everything we did. Yeah, hit and miss. Oh boy, what an adventure that was, right?
Yep, can't believe we made it all the way to Topeka and back. Oh no, we forgot the engine.
Oh shit, we have to do it again next week.
You know what? Maybe we just go get that.
Maybe we try a Chevy. That's 2 in a row. And if I had to guess, they've probably both had bad head gaskets. This one's got problems I don't even recognize. Yes, we have a dead hole, but what's all the blow by? That piston in there looked fine. Is there another one with a hole?
Oh, I gotta be.
Regardless, that's all for this episode because we are out of time and patience. We're clearly not done with this truck because clearly we need to start all the way over and still finish everything on the truck side of things. So for that, make sure you subscribe to see someday when we get the ambition to work on this again.
What, 2 years from now? Because I hate this thing.
Maybe. It's hard to say. Until then, that's all for this week. Best way to support the channel is to check out the merch at junkyarddigs.com and watch Junkyard Digs on Pepperbox. We'll see you guys right here next week for another one. Peace of shit 302.